What's going on, everybody? I'm Dave Connery and I make things. Today, I'm going to be answering a question from somebody that reached out to me on Instagram. They said, "Hey Dave, I saw that post you made where you showed your coffee and your folder that has your daily rituals in it. And I want to know, how do you do that, Dave?" Well, okay, I'm going to talk about it. Let's go. Welcome back. Even though you weren't here in the first place, but I was. Anyway, so today what we're talking about scheduling, we're talking about planning, we're talking about looking to the future, even if the future is only the next current week. We're talking about getting ourselves organized enough so that we have some understanding of how to move forward from day to day, week to week, month to month. I am not an expert in this field. Absolutely 100% not. Every single effort I've ever tried has always fallen by the wayside, either something that I just couldn't align myself with, or it took too much time. I was spending more time doing the organizing than I was doing the actual work, or it was too simplified and I ended up like ditching it completely because it wasn't answering the questions that I needed answered. The most recent technique that I've tried was something I called the just three things method. Basically taking one of those little moleskin notebooks and opening it up to a blank page and then saying, I have 3 things that I need to do today. I might have more than 3 things, but I'm gonna put the main 3 things at the top. If I get those 3 things done, then it's a win. But if I don't get them done, well, I just carry them over to the next day, what I didn't finish, and then start again with the new 3 things. That was great for a while, except, like I said, it was a little too simplified, and because it was so, the things were so small sometimes, I couldn't see the future. I could only see what was happening day to day. Sometimes it would just kind of mess with my scheduling. Like, things would just, I would go astray because I would, go down this rabbit hole because of, oh, I need to go over here for a second, and then realize, oh, I forgot about all these other things over there. The second reason why that didn't work is because it was in a moleskin notebook like this, which was intended to go in your back pocket, but I would leave it in the back pocket and then wash it, and then it was useless. I even tried digital apps, I've got this app called Notion, and I tried to work that, but the problem is that it's not present. It's I have it on my app on my phone, and it's also translates over the laptop, but it's just not, it's not in my face all the time. I have to actually physically open the app to see what's going on. So I decided that I wanted something a little bit more physical, something more substantial, something that when I saw it sitting on the table in front of me, I would know, wow, there's my book of shit I gotta do. Look at the size of that sucker. I got this at Target, I believe. I bought it on a whim because I needed some sort of sketchbook when I was going someplace and I didn't have one, so I just bought this. It was cheap. It's got a bazillion pages in it. It's thick like an encyclopedia. It does the job. The paper's not great, but it's got good sized pages. I think it's almost too thick because sometimes, you're trying to, this is not a great illustration, but basically it's like this ledge that you've got your wrist on. Aside from that, it's a pretty good book. But instead of using it as a sketchbook, I'm using it as a calendar, or rather a schedule for myself of the things that I need to do this week. I started it really simple, and I started fairly recently, so this isn't a foolproof plan. This is something that's gonna kind of become something later, but I wanted to share with you what I've got now so that maybe it's something that you can incorporate that can help drive you to the next goal, the next thing you need to do, the next month, the next whatever. What we've got here is basically a 2-page layout. This page here on the right side is all the projects that I need to do for the week, or things that I definitely want to get to, or at least understand that they are on deck, even if I don't get to them all. This page is typically blank when I start, and I add to it as I need to for things that will basically be brought up as I do the things on this list. I do stuff on this page, some of the information ends up on this page. So this is this week's, September 23rd to 29. First thing I do is I take a ruler and I split the page in 2/3 by 1/3, just like that, leaving this section here for top priority items. These are the things that I absolutely positively need to get done this week. So I have in here podcast, I have the video, I have social stuff that I want to do, I have Patreon things that I need to take care of, and some art. I want to varnish the big piece, which is that one back there. It's all done and hopefully going to a house soon. Those are the things that I definitely, absolutely, positively needed to get done this week. I didn't cross them all out because I'm still kind of working on this one, but I did get some of it done, so it will be crossed out, but it's one of these things where I did some and it'll carry over. This page is all the stuff that's not this that also needs to be done. I break this down. I've got website, I've got art, I've got DT, which is a special project I'm working on with the Patreon people, and then I've got miscellaneous down here at the bottom. And within that, I've got all these different things that I want to do, some more than others. This one, you might have seen it. I did this video where I switched from Squarespace back to Shopify, and I'm still kind of like working that over. It's a slow process, but I'm getting more stuff on there and trying to get it all figured out. So that's why website is a very prominent thing right now. I need to be better about getting my current work on there, and I'm just haven't been great about that, but there's all this other stuff. Like, there's literally stuff back here in these crates back here that I have not done anything about, then they need to go on the website and they're not. So lots of stuff to do. So let me break it down for you right now. Here's the current week, which should be, if I've got my dates right, September 30th to October 6th. That's Monday to Sunday. You can do it however you want. And one thing that's important to note, usually I do this on a Monday, because what I do is I take my book, I take my pen, I take my phone with my earbuds, and I listen to music, I go to a coffee shop, and I work on just this for at least an hour or so. I want to have this done before I start my week. It's the first thing I do. Maybe I'll go to the gym and then I'll go directly to the coffee shop afterward and I'll do this. That way I've got everything lined up and there is no miscommunication, there's no misunderstanding about what needs to get done from Monday to Sunday. So I take the ruler and I mark out about a third of the page. Nothing fancy. I keep this as raw as I possibly can because I don't think it's necessary to be all fancy. I tried the bullet journal system a while back. I went through the whole thing. I watched all the videos of people doing bullet journals, like, oh, that's so cool, so artistic, so beautiful. And then I was thinking to myself, like, God, this is too much work. It's too much work. Why should I spend this much work and energy on the thing that it's just meant to get me to do other work? I could be spending the time on just the other work. So we keep it very raw. Top priority. Now, there are certain things that are absolutely got to be done every single week. Podcast, video, Patreon stuff, and then whatever that I think needs to get done for that particular week. So I always put podcast right at the top because it's the first thing that happens during the week. When I figure out what I'm going to be podcasting about, I'll write that here. Then I'll do video, do the same. I'll give myself a little description if I know what I'm going to be doing. Then I'll do Patreon. If I have anything particular that I need to talk to these people about, updates that need to be made, I mark that down here. And then I put miscellaneous because who knows what else it could be. Could be art, could be design stuff, could be anything at all. And so I put that down here. I've got plenty of room to put whatever I need to. I usually don't fill up this space. I don't need to fill up this space usually because most of the stuff that I need to do for immediately is going to be a short list versus the stuff here is going to be the longer list. So then as I was copying it, if you saw it, where's that page? Website, art, I put DT, that's a project. Let's do this. Patreon, just for you guys, and then miscellaneous again. Website, give myself plenty of room to fill out whatever things. You saw all the stuff that's already on there. I've got quite a few of these. Some of these things probably need to be scratched off right now, but I've got a few days to finish them, so I'll scratch them off as I go. I got plenty of stuff on the website that I got to do. I'll put art here. Usually I would wait. I'd get everything I need done, and then I'd do the next section, but whatever. So art, and then what did I say? Patreon, and then miscellaneous. And then I just go and I bullet point stuff in these particular sections. Now, something from here might show itself to be like, oh gosh, I really got to get that done. So I will take that, maybe cross it out and put it over here in this section because it needs to be done right away. I don't put these other things, the podcast, the video, I don't put these things over here because it's one thing and I know I've got to do it this week. It has to be done. It's a definite must do. That's why I don't put it over here. I don't want to confuse it. I don't want to mix the oil and water. Now, let's talk about this page over here. Completely 100% blank. This stuff is all in support of this stuff. For instance, I was doing this thing on TikTok where I was contributing some art selling tips and I wanted to have successive videos about it because the videos on TikTok are very short. So I wanted to make sure I had them lined out. And so I wrote a few of them here about things I wanted to talk about. Now, if I have other things that I want to write regarding this stuff, I'll put it here. I don't need to make any kind of special reference because I just know like the information's here. I'm gonna see that first. As soon as I flip open that page, that's actually the first stuff I read. Then I'm like, oh, I gotta do this. And then I know exactly exactly what it relates to just by looking at it. So it's really that simple. The only thing that I might incorporate, and I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do it because I don't want to overthink this. The only thing I might want to incorporate different is I might get a highlighter and I might highlight the things that are probably the most pressing for any particular day. So let's say it's Tuesday and I don't necessarily need to do some of this other stuff until other days, like maybe I want to do the video on Wednesday so I don't have to worry about that and I've got the other stuff done, then come back over here on Tuesday and say, okay, well, let's see, what can I do on Tuesday? Okay, I want to make sure I got some mugs and some shirts and some phone cases done, so I will highlight those, get those taken care of, and then if they're done, then I'll cross them back out. I might do a double highlighter thing, and this is why I don't want to get too crazy about it, but maybe it's one highlighter for when it needs to be done right away, and the second one for when it is actually finished. So maybe a highlighter in green to say go, and then a highlighter of some other color to mark it out, to change the color to say it's done. Again, just like bullet journal, I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to spend too much time on this thing. I just want it to be easily accessible information that I can go to in a flash. Like I want to be able to access it that fast. And the reason, again, that I like this big ass book, the reason I want it to be a substantial thing is so I sit it on the coffee table, or I sit it on the desk, or I sit it here in the studio with me, and all I gotta do is see it. It's a very foreboding thing. It's all I gotta do is see it and go, I need to look at the sketchbook first thing. It's almost the first thing I look at. I grab my coffee, I go sit down on the couch, and I see the book, and so, oh, let's look in the book and see what needs to be done today. Not a foolproof plan, not a perfect plan, but it's working pretty good for me. You can adapt it for yourself or use something completely different. Go check out the bullet journal, see if you like that. There's a 3 things video in there somewhere, but I tried to find it, I couldn't find it, so it's probably lodged under something else. If you want to hit me up about that, ask me, post it in the comments. If you have any other questions about any of this stuff, hit it in the comments and I'll answer whatever I can for you. And that's pretty much it for this one, and as you see by the list here, I've got a lot of stuff to do, so I gotta go. But if you do appreciate what I just shared here, do me a favor and like this thing up and share it with some friends. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And then, yeah, that's it. Wait around until the next one comes out. Okay, I'm gonna go. So remember, folks, be good today, be even better tomorrow. See ya. Floppy ruler. You don't want to get whacked with this.